travelling around playing poker is a wonderful, and I think will always be a really exciting thing. If someone was to ask, are there any drawbacks to the whole thing, some people would cite the simple fact that it is possible to travel hundreds of miles, say to somewhere like San Remo in Italy, to sit there for a few hours without too much happening, to get your chips in an incredible shape, say having peeled a 4-bet with aces, to hit a magic ace-10-4 rainbow flop, have the only worry that the ace might actually be the card that kills any action, but still have someone overship all in with pocket fives, and then watch in disbelief as the board runs out running 3 deuce to make the fives a straight. You might have guessed this isn't a made-up story, and this is what happened to me in San Remo, but I actually think it's not so bad. The simple fact that that's so unlikely will mean that it's so rare that actually if you have to take it once in a very long while, it doesn't stop the fun and adventures which is the poker tour. The fact that that's my worst bad beat story yet, and I probably have played 100 tournaments to mirror the 1 in 100 shot that the pocket fives had, means that actually I was probably due it at some point. The only disappointment would be that that was actually the only poker I was ever going to play in August, as the quiet months of July and August are now sandwiched in between the 2 most exciting times of the year in poker. One is obviously the annual trip to Vegas in June, but the time of the year that becomes more and more exciting every year is basically the month of September in London, as the World Series of Poker Europe and EPT London are now combined to make a crazy schedule for 2 or 3 weeks. The schedule is so good that I'm going to do something that I thought I would never do, which is move to the Big Smoke for a few weeks just to take in as much as I can. Of the events that stand out, obviously the World Series of Poker Europe main events and EPT London are at the top, but there are a few other exciting ones as well. The main one is the new event that the World Series of Poker Europe have added. Their schedule is still only 5 events long, so it's still it's a fairly short one, but they have seen sense and added a 2500 six-max event. So however much fun that event will be, it will be a ridiculously tough field, but that definitely will be one of the most eagerly anticipated events. Some good news for me was that there is actually one mixed game event. It's the European 8-game mixed championships. They must have felt free to call it the European Championships because, as far as I know, it's the only mixed game event of the year in Europe. But that's exciting news for me that there is at least some small chance of a return to the mixed games in the off-season outside Vegas. So I've been playing a fair bit of internet poker recently, and it really has struck me that the curve of improvement, which I wondered had maybe plateaued off, I think gets sharper and sharper all the time and poker gets much tougher. It was something that was due to happen, I think. I think there was a period of time 5 or 6 years ago, which in a way really is the ancient times in poker, where in order to do okay, you simply had to have kind of half a brain and half an ounce of patience. Then a couple of years after that was probably a period of time where to do okay, you simply have to kind of think about it a little bit. But now I think we've hit probably the inevitable period where it's to do well, you really have to be on the ball, have all the skill set and pay attention to everything that's happening, which I guess in a way comes as bad news, but it's good as well. It makes a game of poker far more exciting when that's the case. But I think the great news about that whole progression is there's one country which really seems to be emerging at the top of it, and that, of course, is Britain. The Hall of 5 bracelets at the WSOP was a massive over-representation for the size that we'll have had in the fields, and obviously I wasn't part of that, but in a small way I think all British poker players should feel a part of that. It's really nice as well in a game which I guess inevitably is a selfish game, because no one could disguise that they're mainly playing for themselves, but to have this feel that Britain is doing so well, and I'm sure everyone would love to see that success continue. Well, having the World Series of Poker Europe in London, I think, will now be an even more exciting time given what's happening. As I speak, they're down to 6 at the EPT in Portugal, and the top 3 in chips are my good friends Toby Lewis and Sam Trickett, and also Teddy Sheringham, which is very impressive and exciting in another way as well, because that could actually score a lot of publicity for poker. But those 2 guys, Toby and Sam, are absolutely crushed recently, and really hope that we might see them on top in a few hours' time. But whatever happens now, actually, the year of crushing for English poker just goes on and on and on. Maybe I can play some small part in London. I'll be going down for a few weeks, taking the camera and updating as much as I can. So until then, goodbye.